So it means like there is some connection between the two, right? So just like how you have, so imagine Hrithik completed this session and he want to share this particular file with you guys. So what's going to happen is the file name would come as untitled R. So maybe his session name was demo something something. So it would come as demo.r, and you will probably be sharing this with somebody. Imagine this is somebody. So one thing with R is that you can share whatever you are doing in R freely anywhere. For example, it is a good space to promote open science. It is a tool that we use in open science as well. So that like anybody from any part of the world can access and run the same things that you have. And there are also some things that Pratik mentioned with respect to mentioning what each step meant, like mentioning something like summary of this data or something like that. I'm really sorry. Can you give me a second? I'm really sorry. Um, yeah. Um, can you all hear and see me? Okay. Okay. I hope you can see. So, like I said, like you can share this particular file with somebody, and with respect to R Markdown, the use of R Markdown is as simple as like how you have document format and how you have PDF format. There's another format other than R script called R Markdown. So let's say like in terms of like let's do use a comparison of docs and PDF. So like R script would be like a doc format, and R script would be a doc format, and R Markdown will be like a PDF format, which as the name suggests, like the R Markdown is not something that somebody else can edit. It is like kind of like a PDF format that you like once you share the PDF format, or let's say HTML format, any other format that you want to convert the file to, that cannot be edited by somebody else. So I will open an R Markdown file right now, and let's say just name the file called demo. And here your author ID and your date will be coming because that is so this will be something that you will be noticing once you actually uh, install the R. I hope everybody has installed R. Then there are also some options here given like HTML, PDF, Word. It's okay if you don't give an option right now. You can choose any, and for the time being, I'm choosing HTML. So when you open it's an R Markdown file, I'm sorry, yeah. When you open an R Markdown file, what's going to happen is it's going to give you this template with like the title that you have entered for the document, your author name, the date, and it says like what output I chose while creating the document. So here, what is happening is like um, here you can see there are some differences in the color, right? Here there is all white, and here there is all a little bit darker, like off-white color. So what's happening is here is where you enter the code, and this is a place where you can type anything and everything. So what happens is whatever is coming under this part, or like let's say this part, these are the code components, and these are the writing component. So this very much helpful when it comes to like us trying to write let's say a very compiled document with whatever steps we are doing. For example, let's see here. I'm not going to get into this part yet because that will be something that we'll be dealing later. So for example, this is a code component. And here what's happening is there is a data set that is inbuilt in R called cars. So they are trying to find out the summary of car. I will just enter it so that you will know what it is. So summary is just a function that will give you like what is the minimum value that has been there in that particular data set, what is a maximum, what is a median, mean, and all those kind of things. So here, let's see. So there's one column called speed, and there's another column called distance. So it gives minimum, median, mean, third quartile, first quartile, max, and all these values about um, like the particular data set. Okay. So here you give, so for example, like in the previous part where Hrithik mentioned, I will have to write something like summary of cards. I still can do it. Like after writing the code, I can mention a hash and then mention whatever I want to do. But I also can write an introduction of anything and everything. For example, let's say I want to introduce this particular um, data set card. So cards is a data set. Let's say cards is a data set with speed and distance mentioned. Okay, this is a component that I'm writing. So this the sentence component will stay there, and this will stay separate. And earlier, when we used our script, what happened was we saw the codes written on one part, and all the results came here on the console, right? But what is happening is in our Markdown, you can let it appear in both the spaces. Like for example, here when you enter, this button is to run the code. There's also option to run here as well. Like for example, I can select the thing and also select the line code. Or if I have more codes than this, let's say summary of cars, then let's say view cars. And when I enter all together, I can enter the whole chunk. So okay, this view option is not opening right now because I haven't loaded the package for it. So let's say like if we have so many components here, let's say XXX, YYY. So I have a lot of components here. Then when I press it all together, the whole component will be generated. And one thing that you have to notice is like anywhere you can actually use code. So to start a code, this is the basic protocol that you have to follow. You have to use this symbol 3 times. Then you use this symbol, which is a colon, and then you say R, and then you leave some space and then close it with this. So this symbols acts like, let's say, the quotation, like the brackets, the square brackets. So similarly, like here there was no, we didn't have this R, like we didn't have the code component, but I entered the code component, and I'm repeating it again here. That is summary of cards. Okay, so this is one way to go about it. So like it will give you data, and even with respect to anything and everything that you want to do, like assigning a value. So Hrithik mentioned about assigning values like this 1, 2, 3, and this is M. You can also do it reverse, like you feel like. So this is one way I use. So I say 1, 2, 3, and then I write the component. Like so I reverse it so that because this is how we learn usually in mathematics class. So it's easy to remember things, right? So you write the values and then you write what does it lead to, right? So that's the logic that I use here. So you can play around with R this way. And there's also something that would be very helpful for you guys. So if you don't know some function, what this particular thing do, you can always do question mark summary and enter. And what happens is here, there's a help window. Here you will get a description of like what it means. So it says summary is a generic function used to produce result summaries of various models and etc. And it also gives you like an example how to use it. So it says summary, this is how you have to use it. And then there are also other options they have said, which we not get into right now. And it gives you like references and all these areas. But mostly when I do not know something, I put question mark and see what that function means. And then I open what the description says and also probably see the first or second usage example that they have given. And it's not the in what R Markdown, you can also use plots. Like, so for example, in R, something that we could do is we can also construct descriptive statistics, that is like figures like bar graphs, square, like let's say bar graphs, like a scatter plot, whatever plots we can do, whatever descriptive oriented statistics that we want to do, we can do it in R as well. And here you see like it's easier to like compile everything together. So here I gave a description, then I wrote the a summary part of it, that is like doing some mean, like some basic statistics part. And here I come to the component of plotting it. So when I'm pressing plot of pressure, so this is another, this is also coming from the same data set, but is not mentioned as summary because that is to like, keep everything compact. It picks up the like most important 2 columns. You can actually extend it later. So here there's a component of pressure, and it is saying like a pressure and temperature scatter plot. So it has just plotted. This is rather, it is not like an exact scatter plot situation, but then this is like a very basic format of plotting anything. So probably this is something that you cannot use for like mainstream analysis, but then you can use this just to get an idea about like, how the data is going and if there's a trend or something like that. So here you can see like there's a curve that is happening with the data, and all these things can be done. And let's say I completed this whole thing, and here you have an option called knit. So knitting is basically a function wherein you are saying, okay, I'm ready to save this component. So you click on this, said like whether you if you want an HTML document or if you want a PDF document, doesn't make a difference, because whatever you start off with, you always have the option to save it as HTML, PDF, Word component, however you want to do it. Okay, so here like you let's say I am just going to save it as a PDF file, and it will ask me to save it. So this. Okay, so if you can't see it, it's a pop-up saying save as. What do I want to save it as, and where I want to save it. And I saved it, and let's say 1 second. Okay, so I saved the file. So this will be saving whatever R markdown that you have constructed, and immediately it makes a PDF file. Can you see the PDF file? Can somebody confirm it for me?
Yes, we can see the PDF.
Exactly. So yeah, so cool, thanks. So like see here, it generated a PDF file saying the title, the author name, the details, everything that I've entered. So what happens is in general, R Markdown is used to like mention, like have a very good combination of description of something that you're doing. Then you mentioning each code and then what is the result that you got and stuff. Okay. And there's one more thing that I missed out on mentioning. So when you are writing a section, let's say I want to write something called, I want to write a heading to this particular markup. Let's say I want to write introduction to the data set. Okay, that is my first heading I want. 1 second, I'm just gonna close this thing. Yeah. So yeah. So I want to write something called introduction to data set as a heading. So in that case, something that you could also do here is put one hash and it will appear as a first level heading. And then I say, let's say this is what I mentioned as the introduction to data set. And then I want to do a second level heading. I can put double hash and mention, wait, you can also feel free to use space here, because like I mentioned earlier, this is just a text part. So here, whether you put space or not, if you don't, if you skip spaces, it's going to be totally okay. And let's say like the second heading is going to be like um, overview of the data set. Okay. And then I have used a summary code, and I have the summary written here, right? So I'm just gonna delete this part, which is not necessary right now.
Also, Munna, sorry to interrupt. Someone is asking you if you can again please explain how you viewed the PDF from Markdown.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So, okay, I'm coming to that 1 second, because since I missed this out, I will be creating a PDF 1 second. So I'll definitely show you that. So like I said, the first level heading of this document was introduction to data set, and the second one is overview to data set. And so I'm trying to say like by the summary function, I'm trying to show what is the overview, like a brief overview of the data sheet. And similarly, I can go up to like, let's say XXX. So here you see the first level heading, there's a second level heading. So this is there's a small catch with this thing. So first level and second level heading comes like together here. So when you click on this, it just automatically helps you navigate through it. So whoever is downloading this file, let's say if you're sharing the file as it is in an RMD format, that is this format, or if you're sharing it a PDF, then they won't be able to edit, obviously. But then if you're sharing it an RMD file, then what's going to happen is for whoever is operating this file, they will be able to access the same thing. So it is a third level heading. Then I can go to a fourth level heading by putting 4 hash like XXX. So you see, it's easier to track down things. Here, for example, there was this part called including plots. So I'm going to put a 5th level heading for it. So it's easier to track that. So with respect to saving, this is where I'm going to address the question that whoever asked. So here there's an option called knit. Knit is equivalent to saying like save. It just stays for save option. Okay, so it's just it has this is part of a package. So here you can see called knit R. So this is something that automatically opens whenever you open an R Markdown. So you don't have to do anything about it. Whenever you open an R Markdown, automatically there'll be an option called Make. You click on this arrow. It will ask you whether you want to save it as an HTML file. So I'll open it as an HTML file. The moment I press it, see here, it will open as an HTML file, and also it will save it in like wherever whenever I created this particular document, right? Like our Markdown document, I've put a particular file location. So this HTML file will be saved there as well. And the other option is PDF. So when I click on PDF, so the previous PDF will definitely get deleted, replaced with the new PDF. So here you have a PDF. Okay. So then similarly with Word, if I open Word, then Word. And this is all about R Markdown. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask me. And the thing is, I do have a couple of R Markdown files that I worked on, but because of confidentiality reasons, I can't show that. So otherwise, if you have any doubts, I will try to demonstrate it and explain it to you guys. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Munna and Ritik, for that wonderful presentation. And if anyone has any doubts, please unmute now and ask, or you can put it up in chat.